Hey, welcome back to the workshop. This week we're going to be working on an old Reed Vise. I haven't done one in a while, so I figured I better jump on this one. Let's take a closer look at it and see what we got. So the vise that I use daily in my shop is a Reed 104R. It's a fixed base vise like this one, but it doesn't have the bench lip on here. This one's a little bit smaller. This is a 103.5, so it should be a 3.5 inch jaw. Yep, this is a 3.5 inch jaw, and again, it's fixed jaws. But this one's got some issues. One, you can obviously see how bent the rod is here, and it doesn't have the balls on the end, so I'll probably see if I can find a way to replace this completely. And then it looks like someone's been grinding on this thing, and I'm suspicious because it looks like weld filler in there, and underneath, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's holes here and there's one here. So I'm thinking there were holes drilled all the way through. I don't know if that was factory or not. Again, it's a 103.5R. I don't know the date on it yet. There should be a date code somewhere in here. I can read 49 right there, but on my other one, it's got a 4-digit date code. There's some numbers here, but I can't quite read them. I'll have to wait till I get that cleaned up. Again, it's a Reed, and this one's got patent dates on here. December 24th, Christmas Eve, 1912, and August 11th, 1914. So my suspicion is this one's a little bit older than my 1951 204R that I use on a regular basis. Let's start by trying to break this thing down. All right, we got to get this lead screw out of here. Looks like a threaded screw. All right, lead screws should come out pretty easy now. That's in great shape. Maybe I should go ahead and take the nut out. That way I can hammer it through. There we go. Yeah, I think it was just grease holding it back. And then these are going to go in the ultrasonic cleaner. I'll clean some of this off by hand just to give it a better chance inside the cleaner. This grease on here has been there quite a while. Well, it came right out. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but I've got the entire vise in my ultrasonic cleaner. I've got the temperature set on 60 degrees Celsius. It's worked its way from 13 to 17, 18 degrees, just sitting here for 20 minutes. It'll heat up much faster once I turn it on. So this will probably have to go through at least 3 cycles just to get the heat up. I've got the small parts in a bag here with degreaser in there so I don't lose them. And that can just sit on top. All right, we'll check the small parts first that were in the bag. Came pretty clean. All right, so those are good. Now I'm going to get this all blown off with the air gun. Then unfortunately I have to go, so I'm going to have to let this sit till tomorrow. Probably get a little surface rust on it, but that's okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and drain my tank. Watch how dirty this water is. Well, good news. I found the date. Hopefully that's coming through okay. I get the light right. But it's 11/28, so November 1928. All right, it's the next day. Everything's going to be good and dry. I'm going to start by some of these pieces. I'll have to pick a little bit more of the grease off, but not too bad. But I'm going to get that done, and then I'm going to sandblast. All right, everything came out of the sandblaster pretty good. Pretty happy with everything. These two pieces here will only get painted with the rust fix that I like to use. Now for the rest of it, for the body, it's in really rough shape. This one, I did run some of it across the wire wheel to see, but I've got all kinds of things going on. I've got this spot here where it looks like somebody's fixed it. I've got all kinds of deep scratches here. I've got smooth casting here where this was done at the factory prior to the stamping. And then this is really rough casting. I'm going to start with just doing some general cleanup. I'm not going to try and do like a super slick finish on the whole thing. Okay, I'm just sanded up to 220. Probably going to stop there, show you how smooth this is now. All right, the rust fix dried overnight, and hopefully you can now see what I'm dealing with here. I've got some pit marks through here. I've got rough casting on this side, rough casting on this side. So I don't want this to show through, so I'm going to put a little Bondo on here, and then when I build that layer of Bondo, I'm going to see if I can come back, because I decided I really don't want this slick. I'm not going to grind this down to get all these out, but I don't like this pattern. So I'm going to come back and see if I can, maybe with some 40 grit sandpaper and some different methods, I'm going to play with trying to replicate maybe just a rough casting there, but take these little holes out. We'll see. I have no idea if this is going to work or not, but my Bondo is not quite dry yet. So I just took some different tools. All right, I got the primer on, and I played around with this finish a little bit, and it doesn't look too bad. What I ended up doing was, after I put the primer on, you could see the Bondo, and where I tried to mimic a rough casting, it just looked too fake, so I sprayed more primer on and then patted it with a sponge, and it actually looks okay, but I can still see what I did earlier with the Bondo. So I'm actually going to take this down, I'm going to repaint it, and I'm going to try the sponge method a little better. I've got it pretty smooth, so I'm going to try my paint application again, and we'll see how that comes out. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is just get a light coating of the primer on as a base, and I'm going to let that tack up for just a minute. But you can kind of see that compared to this. And the color I chose is Victory Blue, which I think is going to look real good on this vise. All right, I got 2 coats on this. It's looking really good, so I'm going to flip it over and work on the other side. All right, the gray pad was 150 grit fiber. This is 240 grit, so I'll use this. And then I'll go to probably the fine conditioning wheel. All right, this is the original handle. I say original when I bought it, but probably not the original one because there were no balls on the end. Doesn't look like anything was ever there. It's just simply a pin that was stuck through there or a nail or something and pinned over so that this would not come through. So what I've done is I ordered some stuff from McMaster Car, and we're going to try and make a new handle. I've never done this before, so we shall see. But I bought a piece of 1/2 inch diameter steel, and this is a 1144 steel, which they say is easy to machine, because I'm going to need all the help I can get because I'm not a machinist, nor do I have any machinist tools. So I'll show you my plan on that, and we'll see if it works. And then I got these balls for the end that are about 1 inch in diameter, and I think they'll look nice on here. And they've got a 3/8 thread in them. So I've got to reduce the size of this down to 3/8 or slightly less so that I can get my die on there and tap it. And then the plan is to screw this on and hold it on with some Loctite. So I'm going to work on an idea and a plan here, and we'll just go from there and see how it works. All right, it seems like the threads are about 5/8 of an inch deep. All right, so that's going to be my thread length right there. Okay, so here's my setup now. I've got this down probably within about 3 thousandths of an inch of where I need it to be, but it's not flat. So I've got my drill battery chucked up here in my vise, and I've got a zip tie on here. So when I push this in, it's going to start spinning, and then I'm going to use a file to try and flatten this and take off the last little bit. All right, let me get this cut to length and get the other side done. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I think it came out all right. All right, one last time. There's the original, and there's my new handle. It's the first time I've done this, and I couldn't be happier with the outcome. I think it looks really nice. I think it's the right length. These balls are in good proportion to the meatball handle here. So yeah, I'll attach these with Loctite when I'm ready for the full assembly. All right, got all my pieces ready to go here for reassembly. Just going to get a little 3-in-1 oil on the slides here. If you've watched any of my Vise videos before, I've mentioned I don't really usually put a lot of grease on these because this is going on display. It's not going to get used, so I don't want to put a bunch of grease on there that's just going to get nasty. I'll oil them, keep them from rusting, make them work a little bit better. If I ever decide I want to use this on a regular basis, I can always pull it apart and grease it. I need to put this on. I just got a little ahead of myself. And just line up the indention in the lead screw. Get the set screw down in there. So I've got used the Loctite 271 red. Tighten these up best I can by hand, and I'm going to let that sit for a minute before I go banging around on it. I'll just give you an overview here of everything. Man, I'm really happy with how everything turned out. From making the handles, first time I'd ever done that. Found some cool products on McMaster-Carr's website to be able to do this with the threaded balls. Got a nice paint job on everything. Love this color paint. I'll use this again in future projects. And just highlighted the lettering with some red paint here. 97 years old, I think. 1928 is when this was made. And man, I tell you what, it's smooth. So the only thing left to do is to get it mounted to the bench upstairs in my shop. Hey, thanks a lot for hanging around and watching the video for the restoration of my Reed 103.5R Vise, almost 100 years old. Really appreciate all the comments and all the activity my channel's been getting lately. It means a lot, and I hope you're enjoying what I'm doing. Drop me a comment and let me know. We'll see you on the next one.